Welcome back to the finale, possibly, of Crimes of Nature. Last time, everything came to a head. This time, the scores are being settled. The words have been done, the actions have been taken. All that there is now is, well, fix the problem.
Now it arrives at a fist.
Roll me
And a
your
boot to a head.
initiatives.
Wait,
Yeah. Remember we stopped last time?
Fight time.
Yeah, we
no, I forgot that Essence had roll initiative.
It does? Wait, does it?
It does. It's popcorn initiative, but you have to determine what side goes first.
We all have to make our attempt to flex our way to the front of the line. We got to
I
do a
forgot the
team
7S,
pose.
My bad.
I-
That's 5 successes.
It has been a year. There's been a system change, to be fair. What do I roll for this?
In essence, it's whatever combination of stats most makes sense for how you're getting psyched up to fight.
Yep.
There are many options. Which means in a lot of cases, it's probably 10 dice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm just going to say for
Oh.
this performance then.
Well,
For
I
example,
can probably throw.
Angler's using
two
finesse
additional.
awareness because he's looking around going, okay, how we doing this?
Okay, that is 5 successes.
That
for
was
me.
for Tyrant, the first one.
Bad. Loathsome.
That is
Wait.
for Weaver.
Did Milan roll 2d10?
Milan rolled 8d10, then realized, oh, I can roll something other than awareness.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. I came in post that roll.
Scrolling back over to my charm list to check if doing the thing still helps with joining fights. Right, with the change up, that element of it is gone.
So, just as a preference, not preference, a reminder, just due to things that happened right at the end of the session last week. My main game plan right here is I'm going to attempt to get Gauntlet to shoot beams at me and more or less redirect or have them go towards Weaver.
hmm
Because he can't directly attack Weaver, but he can attack us and hit Weaver in the crossfire.
Yes, I suppose, while we're getting warmed up and settled in, to remind of the stakes. So, all for Umbrella's sake.
Yes.
There is Wesker, shit-ass dead dude.
Shit-ass dead dude overlooking this on a balcony, seeming kind of detached and disinterested and mostly interested in watching you all fight for now.
There, his most reasonable, terrible, large adult son,
The
the
newest
Niliox.
Neolox is the newest iteration of his attempts to create a necrotic wood dragon elemental, and has busted out of containment. There is also indescribable organic material all over the back wall and the floor up to the containment.
Ghost meat.
Next to that is Reshnok, the Eater of Impurity. The second circle demon that was marked on the map as don't way the fuck back at the start of the game is now finally here in person.
It's just kind
Was
of
it-
standing there.
It is a porcelain doll-jointed figure that has human tongues as hair and kind of anteater tongues flicking out of holes in the whole fingertips of the hands.
Just standing there slurping the general vicinity.
And up in front is, you know him, you probably hate him, Tyrant.
Golbez.
I'm going to roll Force Presence. Just yell and run forward.
How
For
far up
two.
is Weaver on
Gross.
the platform they're watching us from?
I'd say 2 range bands. 3. So it's long distance from the ground.
Okay, fair.
I said 2, and then I was like, wait a minute, no, that's way too low.
All of Angler's being went 2, you said. I have a death wish. Let's go fight it. No, all right. Fine.
Let's manipulate the numbers.
Okay, I am at the start of the scene, activating
Throw
all
some
my
light.
modes.
Throw a label up there. And yeah, let's note down that I will spend to go into stance. That will Where's the Doom? For the benefits that are still there for Where's the Doom.
Let's see here.
Actually, I will attempt to match Propose's way of doing these numbers. Blue for aura, I assume 12, or red for
Yes.
health, and green for mana pool.
And we did have an opportunity, but as we were walking in, to activate stuff.
Yeah,
so we could
you
have things
could.
going.
I was giving you form stuff for free, rather than having
Well.
it be the start of combat.
Well-
Well, not free, but as without actions as your first turn.
I gotta check if Tank Stance. I think Tank Stance is a moat.
I think it is.
7, and our max mode pool right now is 12 or 11.
12.
12. Thank you.
Obsidian walks into the room at a third of his moat cap.
Wait, no, I used that, so that would be, yeah, okay, that would be 3 of 10 because of that. Okay.
One moment.
Oh god, Milan has 7 health. Oh no.
Chunky.
Fine.
Actually, wait, hang on. What is the amount for determining your health?
It is a baseline of 7, and then you have ox body and stuff.
Cool. Guess what I don't have?
I wanted to dream.
I think it's.
Or did they make it sliding scale now?
Okay, here it is. Loyal Guardian approach, which is being Dragon Blood Hurt Defending Vigil. Yes. Yeah, it is committing one moat, so. Let's add 1 to the Aura pool and 1 minus from the other pool. Obsidian has not stopped being a lamp since the fucking War Strider fight.
Liamp. Alright, so, looking over the successes, the bad guy team pretty solidly wins the contest for initiative, with Nilox blowing it out of the water.
Base health in essence is 2-2-1-1, so 6 total. Of zeros, minus ones, minus twos.
Yes, counting
incapacitated.
incapacitated as 1, but
We
that's
didn't have any time for me to be able to heal anyone, right?
Everybody
None of
was
us
full
have
health.
taken damage since blood fight outside, and you managed to do first
Yeah,
aid for that.
you did the first aid on Angler to make sure Angler was healed by the time you got down here.
Actually, we had gotten experience enough to take exactly 1 moat, right? Or 1.
Regeneration, you mean?
No, not that. We had gotten experience enough to take 1 thing.
Advanced skill. A charm skill.
I believe so.
Alright, cool.
Yeah, we had that award to us not last session, but the session before.
Yeah, and I never spent that. Anyway.
I'm sure that has nothing to do with anything you're doing.
You just take Ox Body again?
I sure did just take Ox Body again.
Why the fuck would Obsidian not take Ox Body right now with what he's planning to do?
I mean, it makes sense.
Can't blame him.
He's role playing. What else was he gonna do?
He's large and he's pointing.
My god.
Well,
Alright, so
hostile turn.
let us look over. Alright, Nilox's first turn is very simple. Nilox, the wood dragon, takes a few steps forward, the trail of necrotic material following behind it, and let us see. There's 2 actions that are going to happen here. One is that all of a sudden, all of you feel the flow of your essence get hitched. this sudden disruption, like your heart skipping a beat, as you are having to fight your own essence flow as you are trying to gather it out of the air from just flowing into this thing. It is a sinkhole. It is a ravenous, unending pit for essence. So mechanically speaking, when you regenerate a mote at the end of the turn, you can choose to either regenerate the mote and give Nylox 1 power, or deny regenerating the mote and Nylox gains no power.
Dangerous.
And why you gotta be so cruel?
This is the last fight. I'm pulling out the meanest gimmicks I've ever thought of.
Stares at my 4 mana. Damn it.
You just gotta roll good.
You mean our choices had consequences?
Yes. Anyway, the second thing is that Nylox just kind of takes a look across the opposition across the field, and its eyes lock on Milan as they glimmer briefly, and it gives a roar. It is giving a kind of antithesis of Watchdog stance to Milan. If Milan does anything that does not immediately and specifically target Nylox, Nylox gets a free reaction turn against Milan.
Oh no. Okay.
And by spending the motes to do both of those things, that is Nylox's entire turn. So yeah, Milan, you can do things that are not against Nylox, but Nylox will immediately do a mark reaction on you.
Alright, I have a plan for an opening move here. Should nicely begin to set the stage. So, calling back to the last time that we fought Tyrant ages ago out in the field. Propose did a charge and did the thing, and Tyrant sort of demonstrated that he has a Clash parry launcher combination.
Yeah, he can disarm your weapon and send it to space with a parry.
So, plan though, with a bit of a meaningful, hey, remember that thing, look, briefly snapped onto Tyrant. I will use the free movement from Where is Doom to zoop forward, and then I will charge at Ruby Gauntlet with the expectation and, you know, boxers communicating through motion understanding that I want you to launch me into the back corner in the general direction of Reshnak.
Alright. Roll me finesse close combat, as this is not going to actually be an opposed clash. This is you trying to work together to make this look natural. This is going to work. It's a matter of how suspicious this looks.
Alright. Just go ahead and add the benefits of the charge.
A little too loud.
Okay, just a minute while I pull up the old fight summary document as well. For ease of access to mechanics. Fight 3.0, no. Fight Essence, where did you end up? There we go. Fighting in Essence. Movement Rush is a +3 on a close combat attack.
I just glance back at chat and see that somebody made an Experience Beach joke. Very good, thank you.
I just want you to know that that caused flashbacks to the original campaign that I did with Loon many, many years ago.
Throw on the old bonus successes from accuracy, because that's a thing the stick do.
Yep.
And go.
Alright,
8.
your version of this, it looks pretty flawless. So let us see if Tyrant lives up to it. And let's pour your whole excellency into this. You're not great at this, but you sure are making up for it with raw effort. Yeah, that's enough. So, you rush in, and it is absolutely practiced, and not even really trying to pull it, you are just less trying to pull a lethal blow and more signaling which direction it's going to be coming from a little too early. At which point, the staff is caught in the ruby gauntlet, and for the briefest second, you worry that he might snap it or activate the gauntlet to melt it or something, but he lives up to the communicated intention that you gave and just whips you around like a fishing rod by the staff with you as the lure, sending you catapulting back dozens and dozens of yards behind him towards the back right pillar, which you smack into, not heavy enough to cause damage, but boy, that's gonna hurt.
Do I have a shot on Weaver? Visualize this.
It is a long-distance shot from low ground, so it is going to be not easy, but you do have a shot lined up.
Alright, sorry, I'm just playing out.
No, it's all good.
Alright, just going to... So, what do we want to treat this as an overall action? Is that,
Yeah.
I would offer resolve that as though it were a successful weathering attack.
I will
done
say
a
that
move
is
to get some advantage in the field.
Yeah. I will call that build power, or yeah, a resolving is that as a wither attack. So you get 6, 8, 10. Yeah, 10 versus his 6. So yeah, you get 4 power because you beat over his clash.
And because I am in form and I've rushed a creature of darkness, 2 more. So, 6. And I'm over here now.
Only good things will happen.
And I will decline my moat regen for this round. Repose will just kind of, after hitting the ground, take like a very audible absence of an inward breath. Weird ghost trick.
Yes, that art is almost exactly how I imagine Rejnak. Thank you.
Little indie gem, weird ghost trick.
So, okay, so next turn is going to be, Yeah, it's gonna be Rejnok's turn, instead of Ruby's, because Rejnok suddenly saw motion in its direction. The demon just very uncomfortably still has its head track, reposes soaring across the area before slamming into the pillar, before just getting down on hands and knees and reverse jointed through the doll joints and just scuttles across the ground like a spider straight up to repose before standing back up to full height and reaching out with its hands to go for a chokehold.
Neat.
Alright, so what is your defense that you are going to be applying?
My defense is many.
Yeah, it is extremely a creature of darkness.
Just checking again. There are many overlapping effects available here, but
Yes.
I believe 7 is what it totals up to when everything applies. 7 defense, and then
any active countermeasures you would like to take, which yeah, I am declaring now that it is going to be swinging, and it is going to be pretty serious about it. Okay, what do you have?
Taking a moment to look at. Most of the other stuff is active. You can you still use excellencies for defense boosting?
I think there is specifically a charm
yeah.
that lets you do that.
They turned it into a unique charm to
Alright.
spend motes on defense,
Yeah.
and it's more expensive than usual.
All right then, just my base defense.
Yeah, I think it is Heavenly Body Technique or something like that.
Yeah.
I have it.
Let's see, so you have your base pool of 12. You are going to use your excellency on this. You are going to use one of your nastier tricks. Which is going to be...
Pros will be fine. You fight demons for breakfast.
Okay, so that is 7. Okay, exact C's on 7, so that is 1 power gained. I believe, because it goes over to the defense and resolves as a touch on the defense without going into subsequent successes. It isn't able to establish the chokehold, but the tongues rake across your neck, and for a moment you think that they're still there scraping across your skin, but then you see they've retracted fully into the thing's hands, and your skin is still just going really uncomfortably. You have an unsettling feeling that you just got set up for something. I will mechanically say this in advance because I don't want to be a dick about this. Rolling ones around Rezhnok is going to be bad for you now. Alright,
Volt
Hero's
level
turn.
1.
Okay,
Would Obsidian like to take an action?
so Obsidian is. Hold up. Oh, I had to move for this, and then I forgot what this exact charm does. Give me 5 seconds.
Yep.
Do you mind if someone else takes a turn, or do you still want to?
No. I kind of want these to go in the order that they go in.
Okay.
Switch over temporarily.
There we go. Okay, yes. So I'm going to rush forward. Of course, as sort of explained, in a how far can I move? All right, so Repose could get to Tyrant, right?
Yeah, that was with 2 range bands of movement, was able to get in and charge.
How do I know what my movement is?
You can move 1 ranged band by default. Any abilities you have that let you move a ranged band will let you move another one. I believe there's an option to do 2 and attack and for charging.
Okay, I won't be doing that. So let's say
Yeah, assume each gap
Here?
assume each gap between pillars is a range band or so.
like here.
Yeah, that's about as far as you could get.
Okay, so I'm going here, and I'm going to. And we got HearthNet open right now. I'm gonna tell Yang to take a shot at Weaver, and as I run away, I am throwing leaves into the air between him and Weaver, and I'm using wood dragon graced weapons so that he can fire through the leaves,
Oh, no. Alright, I guess I can do that.
which does your bolt now has the disarming tag.
I had a thing planned, but yeah, I could do that. So, who goes?
And that would just be on the next turn.
Okay, so that was you doing a setup, basically.
Yes.
Is that the thing in the system?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dragon Grace weapon allows me to enhance an ally's attack.
Yeah, so you have your next attack set up. And now...
Did Darren get out for anyone else? The music is still going.
Alright, and...
Am I back?
Hello?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Discord.
right, the call fluctuated.
Anyway, my one question was, I forget, the demon's MP drain thing, is that guaranteed if I recover it gets power?
Yes, if you choose to gain your moat regen, Nyalox gains 1 power.
I will hold off on regenning this turn.
So, this will be a Sorcerer's Weaving. Gain the will. Put everything into it. Okay, check your sheet. Blood actually begins to drip slightly out of the gauntlet as it is clear that he didn't quite make it, but he is literally feeding his own blood into the gauntlet to overcharge it faster as the beam begins to get ready. And it fires. The effect. Alright, Obsidian, what is your counteraction to beam incoming?
So, Obsidian has mainly been attempting to interact with Ringing Steel purely through directly jostling the rings one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
As the beam comes at me, doing a sort of calculation or whatever you want to call it, I am going to block it and attempt to just channel essence into the sword to magically spin the rings and create some sort of force redirecting the beam. This was sort of half-assed thought out, but he had this thought of this should work.
Oh no. Alright, so do you have Clash Charms or anything? Because that's one of the
Yes.
ones you're going to want to use. Yes. Clash Charm.
Yes. Here it is.
I will say up front, your target number is 10. This will work if you get below 10. It's going to suck if you get below 10.
Yes. So, Obsidian has a base parry of 5. However, you are watching this, and this is the exact moment where, well, this is gonna be interesting for the rest of the encounter. As Obsidian bottoms out his pool and becomes the Fool Blaze. As I'm using both. Oh, I just had it. Portentous Warding Defense, which allows me to roll my choice of attribute and close combat. And add successes to your defense against the attack. And I'm using the close combat mastery.
Alright, and with this, Ringing Steel catches on fire as you reach Iconic Banner.
Alright. That is added to my defense of 5. Or my parry of 5. Because I'm trying to parry the beam here.
Alright, well, you got 15. So you actually get your target number to not immediately start having to pay with your blood. And 5 on top of that. Now, this is
And
where
then-
I'm...
Fuck.
Go on.
This sucks. I'm one mote short of what I wanted to do.
You wanted to do Nascent Flash, right?
I wanted to do Nascent Flash.
I will let you retroactively have regenerated the moat if you want to give Nihilox the power so you can use the Flash, because I want to have a moment happen.
Feel free to spend some juice.
Oh, spend some? I will have retroactively done that to spend the 1 mote for the 1 charm that I have carried over from 3rd edition, which is Blinding Flash we have renamed to Nascent Flash. I am...
Because, yeah,
Doing
I
the-
actually didn't remember what it was, so I just said the 14 version.
Yeah. Which is when I clash at my target, which in this case is the Weaver. I do Solar Flare.
Yep. Now, as you do this, 2 things strike you at once as suddenly critical information, as your heart kind of not stops, but you feel the time between your heartbeats stretch out as the beam, mere fractions of an inch from your face. You saw what that did to Old Man, and Old Man had skin made of metal. You may be a dragon blood, and you may have the blood of all of the elements in your veins. That would still melt you like a candle thrown into a bonfire. And yet, with Ringing Steel's help making a god-awful, catastrophic scream of metal rings spinning against the current, they are able to redirect the trajectory and bounce upward towards the balcony. 2 things immediately stick out in your mind, though. First of all, as the blinding flash happens, you remember, oh wait, shit, Weaver's wearing sunglasses. You know, actually, hang on, I'm keeping this music, you'll see why. The other thing that strikes you is, wait a goddamn second, he can just dodge perfectly anything that is not interrupted by something else. Wait, hang on a second. Where did Moat go?
Yes!
As the Weaver is looking towards the beam in mild disbelief as what is about to happen, the Weaver does not hear the sound of the pounce behind him as Moat latches onto the back of his head and kicks with both feet, knocking the sunglasses clean off of his face. As he is busy thrashing and trying to grab the cat that is suddenly attached to him that he could not see coming, just bang! The beam slams directly into the balcony, melting his foothold and hitting him square in the chest. So So switch back over, as that is extremely appropriate music. Thank you, playlist, for going for that. But yeah, no. Moat is just riding on the back of Weaver's head and using Weaver to body block the entire beam, as no one said where Moat was, so Moat went where Moat was needed.
Beautiful.
Moat does Moat things.
Oop, that is just getting rid of beam effects.
Nope.
And Weaver falls, and this is on villain turn, so Weaver starts turn falling 3 range bands straight down. And let me double check your list of things I can have you do. Weaver is not going to actually take damage from the fall. This is more a matter.
I think he's
Okay,
doubling up
so-
on Tyrant's turn.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
so
right.
Tyrant
No, yeah, this was a
fired
reaction.
beam,
So,
there
Weaver
will
is
be
still
a-
falling until the next turn.
Weaver is in midair, plummeting.
Yes.
It's back
That's
on
right. I
its-
took an attack on somebody else's turn.
The genius.
Alright. So, player turn.
Alright, well, I guess I'll shoot Weaver midair. Do I have to do anything special to use the thing I got, or...
No, you have disarming as a tag on your weapon because of what Obsidian gave you. So what you are going to be rolling is your finesse plus your ranged weaponry plus the accuracy of your weapon.
God, what is the accuracy? Hold on.
Was your...
Sorry, what you said?
I was just gonna ask what the weight class of your weapon was, if it was medium or if it was heavy.
And my armor, it's light. Yeah, the crossbow, it's heavy.
Okay, so that is...
It's +1 accuracy, so just get +1.
Yes,
You get one
can...
bonus success. Accuracy gives successes in
yes.
this.
Okay, so just 10 then, I guess.
Yes, with one bonus success.
That's pretty good.
Alright, and let me double check his stat block. I think that might hit after, if I count this as, I'm gonna count that as 2 attacks against his defense to lower it. If nothing else but for his pride.
I don't really know where you aim to hurt a Wesker, but so I'm just gonna shoot.
I feel like Yang's priority would be less aiming for vital spots on a Wesker and aiming to not hit Moat.
The
So
junk.
probably
Shoot
like
the junk.
aiming for low center of mass. So yeah, towards the junk. Unfortunately,
Actually, well,
go on.
I'm gonna try and lodge an arrow through his tibia and ulna in radius. The 2
Ooh,
bones.
yeah,
I'm trying
right
to
through the arm
separate.
bone.
Yeah, so you can't rotate it easily for a bit.
Ooh, let's see.
That would be pretty disarming.
Fuck
Sure,
off.
they can justify it like that. Why not?
Alright, so you get 2 over his defense, so you gain 2 power. And I'm going to say narratively that it is wedged in his arm, but it is not all the way through his bones. That would be something for like a gambit or serious damage to cause that much of an impediment. But there is now an arrow just stuck in his arm, or a bolt.
Yeah, so some brave hero could probably push that in. It'd be funny.
Alright. Oop, that is wrong layer. Now Weaver collapses on the ground as Moat very wisely hops off and gets the fuck out before anything can happen. Just is scampering off to the side of the arena to try to get out of sight again. And Weaver, absolutely furious at basically everyone for this turn of events, but particularly Obsidian, and Obsidian is the one closest to arm's reach.
Oh, this is gonna end really well for me. The person that has no
No moats. No moats left beef.
Well, I went out the way I lived.
Well, alright, so you retroactively took one... You took one breath in order to pay for doing the move just now.
Yes.
Do you want to have taken a breath at the end of Or wait, you haven't gotten another turn yet.
No, I have not.
It's
I'm
only
still
at the end of his
bottomed out.
own turn.
That was the interrupt.
Actually, what does Solar Flare do? What does that do to his abilities that he got blasted with?
That's a good question. It has
That
been
is suddenly very relevant.
it has been so long since 3rd edition that I don't remember.
I want to say it just inflicts blindness, so I'm just gonna look at.
Hold
what
up,
they...
I still have the 3rd edition cheat sheet stuff. Yeah, here it is, the Exalted folder. That would be in close combat, or what was it called?
Melee.
Oh no, wait, hang on. They gave it a version in guard breaking technique, blinding glare, disorients your foe, and in return to reducing to defense or soak, 1 success penalty to attacks until end of turn. So he is operating at a -1 success to all other things he is doing until the end of his next turn. So this turn and the next one.
No. I'm standing here, unable to defend myself magically.
Alright, and Weaver is going to look at his options.
As Weaver is charging at me, I'm just looking at my sword, just like, if you're gonna do anything, now'd be a good time to do something.
Buddy, I really need some help right now.
I had all summer to figure out what you do, and I still do not know what you do, other than make noise.
Alright, 1 sec. He has a couple of options, and I'm seeing which one he would do at this level of anger.
Oh, I see. Me reaping, this rules. Me sowing. The other way around. No, I got that exactly correct.
Yeah, you did.
Me reaping. This rules. Me threshing. What do you mean there's more steps?
So I'm just gonna. He needs power for almost all of these, so he is just gonna go straight for attempting to brutalize. 15. Okay, that is 10, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. What was your parry?
Well, he can't do a decisive. He has no power.
Yeah, this is him building power. This is not you getting brutalized yet.
What's your regular ass defense?
Yeah.
Hold up. Alright, so my regular ass parry is 5, my soak is 6, my hardness is 7.
Okay. The soak and hardness only matter for decisive damage.
Okay, was unsure.
So could you say the first one again? Sorry, I was...
5 is my parry.
Okay, Okay, so he gets 9 power. So what effectively happens is, in near blind fury as his eyes are glowing and literally almost blistered from the sheer flare of light, takes a moment to find you, but when he gets you by the front of your armor, pulls you forward, and without any finesse, without any grace or martial styles or any sort of really practiced military or boxing, he just starts to beat the shit out of you with his free hand. He is just throwing haymakers, he is chopping you in the throat, he is gouging your eyes, he is trying to make you hurt. He is literally in your bonfire, he is in your flames, and he is not caring, and he is just beating the fuck out of you.
All according to plan.
Alright, hero turn.
Mind if I take it?
Have at it. I'm still deciding.
Okay, so locking eyes with Nihilox. Milan is going to take a step forward, locking eyes, and just say, "That's bullshit. You're bullshit." And Milan is just going to go into a tirade about everything we've learned about how Nihilox was made and how he's cheating about using the Fae. So, Milan is using a social attack on him.
Yes. Good.
Yeah,
And
alright,
also-
alright.
Setting up a charm that I have not gotten to use yet. Masterful Performance Exercise Oration. Commit 1 mote for the duration of the performance, which is me going on a tirade. Anyone who wishes to interrupt or otherwise interfere with me must accept a hard bargain. In addition, the Exalt double 9s on performing and influencing during this. So, I'm going to make a strengthen social roll, which requires 2 successes.
Alright.
1 too many L's. Ooh, no.
Whoa! Whoa! Boy, are you glad Meshnak did not mark you.
No. Okay, so I don't know if this speaks common.
So yeah, the basic end result of this is just the demon, the dragon is just looking at you like,
What?
do you honestly think I No, it's not a matter of it doesn't understand you, it's do you honestly think I care? This thing does not have the capacity to care. You are explaining the meticulous reasons and details and metaphysics of why it shouldn't exist, and it's just sitting there like, I'm here then. Yes, and?
That's okay. I have still taken my step forward and I have started talking.
Step forward, you wind up, and then just die, monster. You don't belong in this world.
Actually, hang on.
That's Milan's turn.
Hang on. Where's the goddamn... Yes, this. Alright, so, villains are out of turns, so it is now Angler's turn.
Alright, Angler is going to pause, and then for the first time in forever, look up and pay homage to Mars. In the process of doing so, he's looking to see, where is that wonderful ley line coming through?
The ley lines have been severed, but if you want to roll in a reflexive finesse sagacity to both pay respect and look for where it was coming, go ahead.
Do that. 3 successes.
You have a pretty good feeling that it was coming from a divot in the ceiling that you can identify, that is pretty meat encrusted, and is roughly over top of the containment unit that Nihilox had been in.
How far up in the ceiling is it?
How
how many range bands away is that from me?
It's 4 up and 3 away.
Okay. Well, in that case, let's see here. First off, Angler's going to use something I forgot to use at the beginning, which is Flow Like Blood. I pay a mode for the scene, and if an enemy misses me, I steal power from them. It also boosts my defense a tiny little bit. And then Angler is just going to use Mountain Crossing Technique to leap directly on top of Nihilox.
Good.
And as he's going over there, he's going to activate another ability, and immediately use Foe Restraining Whirlpool.
All right.
And as he lands on top of Nilox, he's not going to try to hit him. He's immediately just going to enter into a defensive stance and wait. Pretty much standing on top of its shoulder going, come on, I'm right here.
All right. So just to double check, Yang, Milan, Angler, did any of you regenerate a mote?
No.
No.
I don't think so, no.
Okay, so Nilox did not gain any additional power beyond the one I had marked down. And that is a reset of initiative order. Smash cut. Meanwhile, in Yushan.
At this very same bees.
In a bureaucratic building, tucked away on a road that no one could find if they had not lived there for thousands of years, Old Man has finally gotten his day in court. Or more accurately, has been dragged physically into his day in court. Celestial Law has gotten quite upset at a lot of things that the Hearth did. And in particular, the last straw for the heavenly bureaucracy was the recursive become a god, exigent yourself, put yourself back in your body, now I am an exigent of myself, hold that shit. This is an official hearing by heaven to figure out how the fuck you even classify Old Man. Is Old Man a god, a celestial exigent divinity, or something new that we have to write new laws on? Old Man has been missing for a good while because Old Man kind of got frog marched up into heaven and has been awaiting court trial. In terms of, is this illegal? Do we have a law against this? They have been spending a while on the books trying to figure out what the fuck even happened and what the fuck do we do. After hearing that this happened, Flowing River also removed himself from the battlefield and immediately came up to the heavenly courtroom to act as a character witness on behalf of Old Man. This is roughly happening not exactly at the same time as the battle in the underworld, but more or less narratively in the same time period.
I'm just saying, if they didn't have this contingency plan for it, the fact that I found it is more of a fault of theirs than it is of mine, now isn't it?
Look, I agree with you, but we can save that for the arguments after the deposition, Flowing River says to Old Man. Foyanar, the censor dragon at the head of the courtroom, there are a bunch of assorted divinities, legal scribes, a pattern spider over in the corner taking notes as a recorder. There's a lot busier in this courtroom. And also, on the sides, there are audience wings for a lot of court trials in heaven, because a lot of them are show trials in a very literal sense, where the outcome is predetermined and everybody is there to watch a good show.
Mm-hmm.
The state of Old Man's everything has the fucking seats packed. The moment that this was announced, the seats sold out, and you're pretty sure that there are divinities up on the balconies and trying to scry in with magic, despite that not being allowed. But hey, you pay your bribes, you can do whatever the hell you want.
By all means, nothing about what he did is like on an actual scale of real violation of heavenly laws that would involve, like real big deal importance. However, it's so weird that it probably attracted a surprisingly high profile crowd.
Yes. In terms of heavenly violation of law, this is somewhere above traffic violations in heaven and below seriously messing with the mandate of creation and how it should be run. So not trivial, but not a huge big deal. But this is such a
it's
novel...
a felony at least, but
yeah.
I mean, who knows what's gonna go down there?
Yeah, it's a felony, but it's like one of the ones that you have to something in the 6th degree. And also, It's one that they don't know if they have a law about or not, so this is going to be an exploratory trial if nothing else. So,
Setting precedents makes a lot of sense in my opinion, but I'm just throwing this out there that...
But can he be guilty of blasphemy against himself?
that has already been an argument in the opening discussions from, this is less a American-style court. This is more an adversarial inquisitorial court where you are just directly talking to the censor, and the censor doesn't really have a jury, doesn't really have any other... This is the one person, and everybody involved in the case is just making arguments to him. In practice, that also often means money being handed under the table. But right now, no one's even really sure what you would bribe this to be. This is a rare case in heaven where there are not moneyed interests who have a heavy influence in what is going on, because no one is understanding what the hell is happening.
There was really only one extant part of, like, you know, this entire deal who genuinely really cared, and he's completely wiped his hands of this, and was maybe dead. I don't remember.
Purple is on the run, yeah. The executor is extremely... has had all of his cover burned and gone to ground, and may or may not be dead.
The gambling god has made a bet on this, but nobody knows for which side.
Yeah, no one knows, God, what is his name? They don't know how he has bet, but there is absolutely betting pools on the side. There are, in fact, split bets on how it is going to go, what precedents are going to be established, etc. But, to move on, this scene is going to be a combination of social combat and a resolution of Old Man's storyline, as well as some actual setup for help of the people down in the underworld. So, the court case opens proper, with Foyanar putting down the quill and scroll and looking across the table, this probably 30 to 40 foot long dragon coiled up in a judicial bench that is just barely big enough to hold him. He is kind of squeezing in at the edges. This is a hastily assembled, get the first courtroom we can find open kind of trial. Alright. The inquisitorial trial into the nature of the divinity, exigency, and ascension of the mortal once known as Li Tongyan, or Old Man, or... what was your self-description?
Coil of Providence is the current...
Yes, that. Has begun. Just putting down the quill. First of all, I will ask, once again, do you understand why you are here today?
Oh, fully, 100% I understand why I'm here.
Okay. So we don't have to go through that again. Flowing River is kind of barely able to hide a smile as Old Man's absolutely taken the time to make this annoying as possible for every heavenly official that has been involved getting him here.
Of course. There was no world in which that wasn't going. He wasn't going to do that.
First question upon the docket is the nature of your divinity. What precisely did you do in order to ascend from the mortal shell into the phase of godhood?
All right. What precisely I did to do this, you say? That the instigating act that actually made it work?
Yes.
I consumed an inordinate amount of primordial mercury, of true quicksilver.
No! Somebody in the back yells. Foyanar.
It's not like you wouldn't do it if you didn't have the chance.
I do have the chance, and I don't, Foyanar says, before writing something else down. And
That-
from where was
that
the
only
true...
particularly worked because there was a whole bunch of previous steps before there.
Yes, I understand. Where exactly did you requisition this true quicksilver? Did you speak with the Mercurial Queen about it?
Oh, absolutely not.
And then where did you receive it?
I believe I found it in, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
it was basically in in a fort in the Gunzoda Redoubt, I believe. Is
Yeah,
what it was.
it was sealed at the bottom of the Gunzoda Redoubt.
Yeah. Inside of a fort, sealed at the bottom of the Gunzoda Redoubt, inside of a jug that was conspicuously not amethyst, if memory serves me right.
Flowing River. Yes, sir. You were the sidereal assigned to the special task force in the area for overwatch of the specific comings and goings of the formal heavenly agent known as the Executor. And I'm not reading the rest of this name, it is entirely too long. Did you have any awareness that there was unaccounted for true quicksilver in the area? No, I did not. And is there a particular reason that you did not understand why there was a heavenly quicksilver compound within the area of the Gunzoda Redoubt? My best guess is that it was going to be a leftover from the Shogunate period, although why they had such a large reserve of quicksilver in a military institution is going to be irrelevant. That's good enough for me on the paperwork. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've been keeping some of these in reserve for recap later, but we can just drop that one in.
Yeah, this deserves to be on screen.
Wow, you look like a scumbag.
He always did.
He always did, yeah.
Classic
you look
old
like
man.
Drill. You like Heavenly Drill.
I'm already hollering about myself.
Turn the 4th day of calibration into the 4th of shit.
This whole thing smacks of divinity.
Foyanar just picks up the quill again. Okay. Just very visibly, it is incredible how expressive the draconic face of this dragon is, as one hand is just propping up the sinuous head as the other is starting to write notes before looking back over at Old Man.
I can respect the fact that this dragon is so incredibly done with the fanciness of heavenly names that he just doesn't have one.
Yeah.
Just Foyanar.
Yeah, he technically has all of the titles and stuff that would come with being a celestial censor. He's not fucking using them. He's too tired. This is punishment duty for him, is getting your case.
Celestial dragon of exhaustion.
Now,
Work.
if you could describe what form of divinity you ascribe to, and if there was any sense of sensation from the higher powers, may it be the Unconquered Sun, blessed be his name, Sol Invictus, Luna, the ever-changing, the 5 Maidens of Fate, may their waving signs be ever forward in the progress of creation, or Gaia, may her body ever carry forward the legacy of the wisdom of the ancients. Did you receive any form of instructions as to what the hell you were doing as a god?
Absolutely none.
Okay.
At least I didn't give myself any.
I'm going to mark that down as a no, because the second answer is going to give me a lot more paperwork.
If it helps, I apparently resonate with star metal.
Pauses, writes that down. Resonates with star metal, does not have reflection in the loom of fate. Regardless, this is your problem now, Bureau of Secrets. Underline. Alright. And as a god, how long did you spend before you had the conscious desire to put yourself back into a bot? Did you actually seek the flame of existence via cognizant, conscious desire, or what happened there?
Old Man actually pauses for a moment and thinks about this because it's very hard to put into words. Because Old Man's existence as a divinity was incredibly brief.
Right.
It was like a moment, just like a brief moment. It was not a real, like, he barely had any chance to take even note of what he could do or was in that state. So it was kind of more just like a very brief moment of blur right before he basically became himself again, but slightly different this time.
Okay. So with that, go on.
Words it out like this of,
Yeah.
I did not experience, I experienced from my limited set of context, given that it was only for maybe a few seconds to a minute, a divine state of being that knew that it was fleeting, and then put itself back into its original vessel, but different this time. So I would say So I would say yes, technically.
There is a lot of much faster quill writing to get that all down. Okay.
And it is worth noting that I do believe it's possible that I was technically dead for that brief period of time for the second time.
There is a loud murmur in the crowd as Foyanar just closes his eyes for a moment and picks up and shuffles another set of paperwork. That goes back to one of the other questions that I will just forward in the Inquisition. You were a mortal sorcerer who was provided the access to the you were a mortal sorcerer that gained access to the powers of sorcery via your own self-training and the imposition of the Silurian doctrine and the weavings of the sorcerer's fates within, an assistance and you don't need to hear the rest of this.
Hold on. The Cerulean Doctrines, is that the book that I studied? I actually had no idea. I still can't read Old Realm.
You what? Flowing River is just turning red with a mouth as a just tightly cinched shut, desperate attempt to not laugh.
You might notice from the way that actually, this is worth I bet, like, given that this is in a celestial courtroom and all of that.
Yes.
Pretty much, language doesn't matter, really, in
Yeah,
this
gods
context,
can
where
just be
everyone-
understood.
Yeah. I'm sure you haven't really been bothered to notice, but I'm still speaking River Speak. It is the only language that I actually know how to read, write, and speak.
Looks at notes. Looks back at old man. Looks at notes.
I learned sorcery more or less just by doing I looked at the pictures, being completely honest, and then extrapolated from there and filled in the blanks myself.
You looked at the pictures.
They're very well illustrated.
Soul Invictus, grant me your compassion and your conviction. Ugh.
I have always had the assumption that I accidentally rediscovered an older form of sorcery. I won't say that I'm not going to say, and I don't believe that I rediscovered a perfect way to redo first stage sorcery or anything like that, which I'm going
Unfortunately, from the sounds of what you are describing, you came to across the symbol or base principles of Silurian form sorcery without understanding the book you were reading.
The old man's actually just gonna shrug, like, okay, if that's how it went, then you're telling me.
And yeah, for context for the call, the Silurian weaving was basically how people can come across sorcery without a tutor in the first place. Old man just kinda was more extreme about it than most. So Foyanar is now has kind of one eyelid pinched shut with a draconic claw. Regardless of the point, you were a mortal sorcerer self-tutored through the Silurian weaving, who attempted a immortality ritual. As through one of the prescribed methods approved by the gates of heaven, you were illicitly denied your ascension to immortal status by former agent of heaven known as the Executor, in a off-the-records, unnoted, but still illicit action, and you, Sean, and the Celestial Bureaucracy must formally apologize to you in order for not catching this mistake when it originally happened, nor did we notice it afterwards. However, I also must inform you that as you were an unregistered and illegal immortal under the laws of heaven, all of your actions afterwards and your ascension into divinity were not following the Celestial Bureaucracy's methods, nor were they following proper channels into promotion to divinity, as they should have been. So no matter how briefly you were a god, you were not a god recognized by you, Sean, which means that you are an exigent of a rogue divinity that no longer exists, but you are still a rogue divinity under that classification. Strikes down a underline pen. Ordinarily, precedent on this is unclear and would be open to interpretation, anywhere from sanctions to labor under the divinities under Overwatch to a removal of the Spark of Exigence. But I have a different question for you. Puts down the quill and leans forward. What the hell is Yaku-Man?
Ah.
And smash cut back to the underworld.
Well,
Initiative reset. Back to turn order.
a new round.
What is a Yaku-Man?
Is it their turn or our turn?
It is going to be enemy turn first. So I'm just getting rid of the tags first.
Yaku-Man is known in Yushan.
Will old man be a snitch?
Would old man be a snitch?
What are you asking?
I'm not going to answer that question, but I'm insulted that you had to ask it.
Alright, so turn order. I'm going to actually have this start with Tyrant. Let's see, and what would Tyrant prioritize doing right now?
It's a good question, I say.
I know, but
Well,
also
All of
doing
his
anything
nominal
about
allies are in close quarters, so any beam would cause friendly fire for him directly.
yeah, addressing this situation would be a pretty direct addressing this situation on your behalf would be a pretty direct I am attacking my boss. So he is trying to weigh his options of how heavy he can think about getting away with that. And
I'm in a position that none of the other bad guys can see me save for Tyrant, correct? Because I'm up on Nillox.
you are on top of Nilox, and Reznok is currently laser focused on Repose, and Weaver is just kind of going berserk on Obsidian. And actually, Tyrant has a plan.
Okay, I was going to say, at the end of the previous turn, it could have been Angler sent a wind carried words, but Tyrant has a plan. Let's see that plan.
Tyrant flutters the cloak back around himself and leaps forward behind Obsidian's shield. There is no verbal communication, but Obsidian, roll me Force War.
I can do nothing to adjust this roll.
You are a little busy having the absolute Christ beaten out of you.
Understandable.
There is a brief pause behind you before you hear the sound of the gauntlet whirring again, and you are briefly very worried. Oh no. Oh, Tyrant, you better hope this works. No, it does not. Oh, this is gonna get interesting real quick. Okay. I will say, you are safe. Tyrant just made a huge mistake. What Tyrant does is he tries to reach up behind you with his gauntlet glowing, trying to mimic that he is trying to punch you in the back, while subtly guiding his hand towards ringing steel to knock it forward in a parry/disarm that would launch it forward to bury into Weaver. However, he is too measured and slow about this, and Weaver goes from holding you by the front of your armor and the cloth around your throat and just pummeling you to suddenly he is gone with a puff of black smoke and he is to Weaver, the Tyrant's side. So you are just standing there gasping for air, suddenly released, as the air just... actually, all the way out to Yang goes ice cold. Hero turn, you get one before what's going to happen is happening.
If people don't have an immediate reaction to keep, whatever's happening in the middle, and I have a dumb idea.
I'm searching through all of the chest of drawers that is my mental head, thinking of something funny I can do. But also, it'd be kind of funny if Ruby Tyrant just gets iced here.
Okay,
Yeah,
then I'm going to go then. Angler's turn's very simple. He's going to take the 1 point, so Nyalox can get 1 power.
It's on recovery instead of on.
It is on recovery, yes.
Well, that's fine. I'm still going to do the jump. Angler's going to use Grace of the Mountain Stride technique to go straight up towards that ley line. And he's going to punch right through it.
Okay. What is your goal with this? The actual question.
My goal is to shove the Friendship Gauntlet in there and release every single one of the spirits that I have into the ley line and let them do some dumb shit.
Yeah, all right. Give me a finesse to get. Give me a finesse athletics to get up there and get a real good squish in.
Okay, gonna use the last point of juice I've got. That'd be 7 successes.
All right, so you just spring clean off of Nylox's shoulder as Nylox is just very kind of casually regarding you, and just slam your hand up into the ley line and begin to release the spirits that had been riding along inside from the flesh-grafted experiments and all of the other failed castaway things that you had found in the biological labs. There is just an immediate shift in the room as the all of the biomatter begins to writhe as it is being forced to channel essence that it was not intending to channel. It is basically the equivalent of dead wood having sap forced through it again. And now we go over to... Let us just go to... What do I... Now let's go with this. Weaver looks at Tyrant, who is standing completely still, who knows the whole game is up, and is expecting just to have his soul ripped out on the spot. Weaver does not do that. Weaver just raises a hand, and Rejnok turns its head from repose. Weaver then flicks 2 fingers towards Tyrant. Get rid of the weakness. And Rejnok goes at absolute faster than you can stop speed, just absolute fast forward jittering Jacob's ladder over cranked speeds towards Tyrant. All right, Tyrant, you got one last roll. Let's see if you got this in you, buddy. What's up?
I can do a thing to this.
What do you want?
And I feel like it would be very Obsidian to do this.
You gotta move, do the move.
Does Tyrant currently count as an ally?
In this fight, yes. And
I can defend other because I have tank stance up.
All right.
You sure?
I'm going to say that this is not going to block the attack, because this is Rejnok doing as something that is not a physical attack. However, you doing this just made it so Tyrant doubles 7s on what he is trying to do.
Let's say, as Rejnok is coming towards it, still gasping for air, Obsidian slides through Ruby's legs and just swings the sword as hard as he can to try and stop this demon in any way. Oh!
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And
I also
Mhm.
pasted some reminder rule text over in Codex that since Obsidian's anima is very yes.
Yeah, their bonfire is active right now.
It's on the other people's turn they have to make that check, correct? Not ours.
Mhm.
It is unclear when in timing this is supposed to happen.
When a Dragon Blood has 5 or more anima, all characters within close range must make them face. I feel like that's an environmental hazard rule, which is during the character's turn when they are acting. So yeah, that is
Weaver would have had to have made a roll.
Weaver ignored it. Weaver has a charm to ignore environmental hazards
No.
completely.
No.
I
My mana.
had to make one against me then. I'm at full anima banner at this point. But I was at 7 when I was on their shoulder.
All right, so let us just go. Is this the right time?
I have to beat a 6. Because it's my anima or essence +2, correct?
All right. So, what happens is the tongues from the fingertips all lash out, as well as the tongues creating the crown of hair, extending about a foot outwards to create a thrashing lion's mane, as they all punch straight through the gaps in Tyrant's armor. As Obsidian swings the sword like a massive, just baseball swing home run to the fence into the gut of Rejnok, cracking it. Momentarily, there seems like nothing happens before it cracks and dents inward, and black oil just starts gushing out from the inside. As Tyrant is stock still and paralyzed, as the tongues are puncturing in and going into his veins and reaching up into his brain, the last thing he sees before he blacks out is Obsidian rushing in front of him to swing the sword to defend him. Despite everything, despite Obsidian being on the verge of knocked out or worse by the Weaver moments before, still stepped forward and swung. Rejnok, the Eater of Impurity, was tasked with removing the weakness. with removing the impurity. The Weaver upon the loom of flesh did not, in his moment of rage, consider that they might have different definitions of impurity. In the final moment, at the ultimate second where Reshnok is evaluating this fragile soul tethered to a warped exaltation, it has to decide what's pure in here. It has to decide who or what is the core it needs to prune away from. And in those last seconds of consciousness from Tyrant refused to bow down. Tyrant was thinking of the hearth. Tyrant's last thoughts were not, I want to live. They were, I want them to win. That's the strength. Everything else is weakness. Reshnok and its tongues lurch backwards like they have been electrocuted as they suddenly begin to rip and shred and pull and tear away the soul steel armor in bloody rents, literally shredding into Tyrant and pulling away gouges of essence and blood as this horrible noise begins to emerge from Tyrant's rent-open throat. You see, the weakness here was not the man. It was everything encouraging him to be the worst he could possibly be. Oh, Reshnok is not going to get rid of him being a terrible person. No. That's the strength in there. That's the person. That is who he is. He made those choices. Reshnok just wants to make this a fair fight for the little person inside stuck to that exaltation. And so Reshnok reaches in and grabs the shadow of the Neverborn and consumes it. Unfortunately for Reshnok, that is not something one can do very easily. As Reshnok staggers backwards, clutching its hands to its head as its cracked shell begins to explode along porcelain lines, and its dull joints burst outwards into thrashing tongues and black oil. And there is a moment as the mask cracks where the fractures along the mask look rapturous before its entire corporeal form contained within the porcelain explodes. And from within emerges dark, red, black, shadowy chains. Just get you in the right spot. So, Repose and Obsidian. Do you both remember, a long time ago, that you did the Oath of 10,000 Dragons to oppose the Neverborn? Your brains are screaming right now.
Yeah, also, I just remembered that a very, very long time ago, at our previous fight against the Ruby Gauntlet, I did, in fact, using Unflying Vengeance Meditation against the Neverborn.
Yes.
You're looking at a lucid dream of one of the dead that dream. You are looking at Whose Whisper's chain, now embodied in the stolen form of one of its imprisoned brother's souls. You are looking at Reshnok, Whose Whisper's chain. I am just going to have Tyrant out of the fight. He is out of the armor, stripped down to his basic tattered leather and cloth armor beneath the soul steel, and collapsed on the ground unconscious and bleeding. He is no longer this fight. Weaver does not look very happy with this. He in fact looks kind of terrified.
Well, that's not ideal for anyone, really.
Hero turn.
Hey, Repose, if you gotta move, that would be a great time.
Well, can always just go ahead and is that vaguely within one range of me?
That's 1 or 2, yeah.
Well, soup. Well, I guess with Reznak proper now out of there, I don't need to worry about the one's debuff, or is some form of it still active?
A form of it is still active. It is doing something different now.
All right.
Actually, everyone has it now that it is the Neverborn version.
Great.
Cool.
There's a general aura of terrible stank.
Yes,
Also,
even Nilox and
Repose-
Weaver have the curse right now.
That Repose, like, tenses up, springs over, lands, is in position, and just in, like, a brief, like, dramatic pause moment, just stage whispering to himself. You know, I had things that I was about to say to you, but then... Now you're like this, and it would just be wasted breath. It has just been one of those years. And let's go in for a paralyzing combustion imbuement.
Doesn't look like it's showing up right on your end. Oh wait. Next, visible to everyone.
Yeah, the old close combat excellence. So yeah, we're just getting a blob for the moment.
Yeah, hang on.
So that'll be a net gain of 1 anima to also have the earth vibrations going on. And so I will be attempting a reveal weakness.
Alright. I'll give you a stunt for the just goddamn it this year.
Somewhere in the back of Obsidian's mind. Wish old man was here.
Alright, so stunt dice, benefits from charging, which also means since I have, well, the power from the stance is phrased as on a successful attack, so that'll be something I have after this.
Yes.
But so, base pool, charge bonus, stunt bonus, and excellency to throw in for the full 20 dice.
Alright.
And weapon accuracy, does that apply during decisive slash? Yeah, it just generically seems to be the case now, so...
No ones!
No ones!
Alright, so that's 14 successes.
How much defense this thing got?
10. You beat it by 4.
So, just glancing back and forth between the old pages. Yep, so begins to glow from within. Suffers a 3 success penalty on any stealth actions. Cannot voluntarily take an action that would move away from or disengage with. And if any other action causes it move away from me, I get to automate, or let's see, The initiator of any action that would result in a creature of darkness marked by this gambit, ending the action from the Exalted began, must roll Essence. If the roll-off fails, all effects on the action except movements to apply. Assign appropriately scaled dice pools to environment. Yeah, so
basically
it is stuck here
move.
for now, and we have revealed
yeah.
weakness, which the base effect of that.
I will also say in advance, it is not stunned, but it is stuck.
Got those boss numbers.
Yeah, reveal weaknesses. So reduce target soak by 2 for 1 round per extra success. So
for the next 4 rounds, its soak is 2 lower.
And so successful gambit cost me 3 power, but I regain 2 for having successfully attacked. So net cost of only 1.
Yes.
And I'm just in here vibrating.
Alright. Villain turn. Technically, Rezhnok, whose Whisper's Chain, is an independent actor from Rezhnok, and Eater of Impurity. So, it takes its turn. As, instead of doing anything to lash out towards Repose as Repose is looking at it, there is a visible shockwave pulse through the room like a heartbeat out from it, as there is this sudden thunk across all of you. Everyone make me a Fortitude Integrity check. As one sec.
Oh, and I will take a breath and allow Niliox to gain 1 power.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no ones.
No ones.
It was.
Hey, Obsidian, you know who aren't going to be giving any juice to those things? The 2 of us.
Was it
Fortitude Integrity.
Okay.
I had Integrity Protecting Principle up for since the last session.
What precisely does that do? Because I don't know if it's going to apply.
Okay, I don't think it will. Possession is immune to the twisting effects created by the environment. It's
That's
just
not
wild
what's happening.
protection. Yeah, okay.
That's that's not what happening. Holy
No.
fuck!
piss.
I'd like to point out we rolled 48 dice before a 1 was rolled.
Also, Sana, hey.
Yeah. What?
It is incredibly narratively appropriate that
Unshakable.
it is so appropriate that Sana just rolled that I am going to resolve this action and mid-combat go back to Old Man to fast forward a little bit to what I was building towards.
Oh no.
So I'm going to describe what this just was. First of all, it gets 2 to its tracker. It may be hard to see, that's a 13 in that bar. When there are 13 ones rolled, something will happen. Capital S, something. When it pulses, there is a sudden, violent lurch in all of your stomachs as it feels like you are falling, and you almost collapse to the ground. No one actually does. Even Milan and Repose are able to hold on. However, this Gordian impossible n-dimensional knot of rusted metal, bloody chains, and whispering, because the metal rustling against itself sounds like whispers of a language you cannot identify until the pulse happens, at which point you are given violent, intrusive memories and intrusive thoughts of everything that has gone wrong when you have trusted someone else, or could go wrong with the people that you love and you trust. Every possible situation. Like, for Milan, for example, suddenly sees a vision of what might happen if Milan goes too far astray from the doctrine for Shireen to tolerate, and she just goes berserker, and Milan is unable to stop, and it just escalates into the civil war happening because of Milan. Repose sees himself failing the family. Obsidian sees his father again. Everyone is confronted with their absolute worst fears and connections of being vulnerable and having that ripped and twisted against them. But in that last moment, as everyone is suddenly about to devolve into being lost in their own heads, being lost in a psychic panoply of all of their connections pulling on each other into torn knots, into ripping each other apart, two things happen. One, you feel almost spiritually something tugging on all of your Hearthnet network strands, as Yang, off in the corner, looks completely unaffected. This is just Tuesday. This is just my brain. Try harder. As Yang just effortlessly pulls everyone out mentally. Just like, no.
Are you guys okay?
Everyone looks at Yang and sees exactly this face.
Yes, exactly the token face.
Are you doing all right, buddy?
The second thing is that Tyrant's unconscious body has the right hand, now with the gauntlet ripped away, rise up and plant itself on the floor, trying to raise his body up, staring bloody daggers at the mass of Reshnaku's Whisper's chain. Not them! I will switch over back up into heaven. I won't ask again. Who is Yakuman?
Who is Yakuman? Old man looks around, looks at himself, and then back up at Faynar, and also at the rest of the room real quick, and puts his thumb under his chin. Well, last I heard, the Yakuman is the defender of the 13 orphans, and a hero to the downtrodden and the people at large.
That's not what I meant, and you know it.
Old man looks at the rest of the court and just shrugs at that's the answer you're going to get. That's who Yakuman is.
Let me try and rephrase this. You are involved with the hearth that has been involved in the incidents in the Rivers Kingdom as of late, involving the underworld and all of the other shit that I'm not going to read out loud. Yes or no?
Oh, absolutely.
You have been present physically when the divine signature that was later backtraced to be that of Yakuman was present, yes or no?
I believe so, yes.
You were there when that divine signature was mantled on top of a physical, non-divine entity, yes or no?
Absolutely.
You know the identity of that individual, yes or no?
Yes.
You will answer as to the identity of that individual in a court of law, yes or no?
Absolutely.
Who is it?
The defender of the 13 orphans.
I
knew exactly where
the
this was
courtroom be
going.
made a mockery of by an upstart that found a loophole!
I don't believe I ever made any official oaths to Yakuman.
Then you were
But I don't
under...
think-
Go on, sorry, that he wouldn't have cut off if you kept going.
Yeah. I don't believe I made any official oaths to Yakuman themselves. But I've witnessed the witnessed what Yakuman is and who they are. And I do not believe that there is any force, celestial or otherwise, that would get me to divulge the identity of Yakuman.
Writes down something on the parchment. Let's try another line of questioning. Are you
There's
aware
anything
if
that old
Yakuman
man
is present in Yushan right now?
I've been up here for ages. I have no idea where the Yakuman is. That's actually completely true.
Are you aware that there is an office in Yushan that has had both prayer and divine messages passed to it in the name of Yakuman?
Oh, did that actually work? That's interesting.
Flowing River just looks back. What do you mean, worked?
Old man shrugs. That was actually a conversation that came up once.
Yeah. And Foyanar says, are you aware that that warehouse has been inspected and there is no one there and no one has opened the mail and yet it has still been sorted?
Well, I'm telling you, Mac. I'm sure he exists.
Alright, you know what? Let's try this as a little experiment. Two can play at your little obfuscation games, and I can figure out how this is going to go. There is something mentioned very deliberately in Old Realm, so Old Man cannot understand it, that makes Flowing River pull a face. As another functionary of the court comes over to Foyanar as there is a brief discussion. As they go back and forth. Before Foyanar nods, and there is a sudden kind of set of gestures from the functionary. And then something shifts. Flowing River leans forward. Most esteemed censor, I should hope that you were going to be filing the appropriate... I'm going to file the appropriate notes when they grow teeth and bite me. Now stay there and wait. Flowing River leans over to Old Man. What he just did is a emergency function that is usually heavily restricted. Technically speaking, every worshipper of a god can have a vision sent to them as part of a divine prophecy, or as any sort of enlightenment or other way of communication. It is not something that is invoked very often, especially not on a mass scale. What he has done is he has imposed the urge to pray to Yakuman in everyone that is aware of Yakuman as a divinity.
Bad idea.
At the same time, if you know what this is going to do, if you know where this is going to happen, I really, really encourage you to say something.
Old man puts his hand, copper hand, tap of somewhere between the actual human flesh on wood and, a metal on wood sound at the same time. And just looks back at Flowing River and gives them a big old smile and goes, sometimes causing problems on purpose is the right thing to do.
And with that, I will switch out of heaven, back to the underworld, as the narrative timelines sync up. As roughly about now, Yang feels a sudden buoyancy, a lightness, an itch across the face under the mask almost. And then a chorus of voices. Yakuman, thank you for protecting us from the fires within the valley. Yakuman, thank you for stopping the onslaught of the Blood Warriors. Yakuman, thank you and your brethren for saving us. Thank you for helping us with bismuth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please be safe. Please stay strong. I worry. Please be okay. Just this chorus, this deafening wave that echoes outwards into the rest of the hearth of sudden, intense unawareness of the situation, but all of the people who have been introduced to the Yakuman cult are praying. And it is too much for Yang to hold in one body. As the hearth network extends outward, Vanif Milan, Obsidian Shield, Absolute Repose, and Angler Spanning All Seas feel a warmth across their face as 4 masks grow across them, and they feel like they have never been more alive. Everyone refill all of your motes and get Essence 5.
Alright, sure, I guess we're a Sentai team now.
Ow! We've been one.
You don't have costumes.
Yes, I do!
Yeah, actually, a lot of us do.
Everyone's mask is shining a brilliant gold light that makes the chains retract and banishes the thoughts in your heads, and Weaver staggers away in horror, looking around. It's the hero turn.
Well, there's 3 of us up.
Yep.
I will need a moment. I went from having nothing to all the options all at once.
I had an idea, and Darren just did exactly my idea, so now I have to think of something.
I actually didn't see you posting your idea until I already had this one planned as the backup. Just old man annoys the court enough to pull the trigger on, alright, fucking assholes, we'll find out who Yakuman is. Surprise, Yakuman is the heart of the people. All of that backlog prayer has gone directly into your bodies.
Heavenly records show that Heaven chose to funnel all these assets I was not planning to embezzle into me.
Okay, no. I have
And
an
no
idea.
part was this part of my plan. That's an honest God.
Also, hey, guess who just got recognized by a divine censor as a legitimate god?
It was a mistake. I'm trying to delete it.
Like, Old Man in Flowing River would get this immediately to do
Also,
this, they have to acknowledge that you are a god.
If we're receiving that last-minute flare-up to Essence 5, then Essence Max is 15
we are now in
We are in the cutscene.
We are in you can all start stunting on things situation.
Okay, so Milan is going to activate what is it called? Bird mode. What eagle wing style, and
Eagle Wing style.
fly into the air and then just start gathering essence power as I begin charging up, and I loudly declare, "Chi." Well, let me roll. This is for building power. Only 1-1, but jumping back and forth between tabs.
This whole time, Nylox hasn't done anything. He's just standing there.
He's been kind of accelerated by this fight. His gimmick was to drain a lot of power and be very hard to hurt if you had gone into this as a slugging match, but you all went into this as criminals.
Please don't look
I
up. Please don't look
I
up, please don't
deliberately
look up, please don't look
designed...
up.
What?
Please don't look up. Please don't look up. Please don't look up.
Yeah. So I will just say, I designed Nylox to be a very brutal, straightforward boss, knowing that you would all start doing stupid bullshit and get around that.
So here's what I'm doing. I'm doing a prepare action with Sagacity to funnel power into myself. That is a difficulty 3, so I get power equal to the successes over.
Yep.
So that is 9. So that's 6 power I'm getting.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I am funneling that back into Yang. Because I can, yes, I can accrue power or distribute it to my allies. I am funneling that power into Yang.
So Yang goes up to 8 power.
The power cap is like what?
10.
10.
10. Yeah, right.
Alright, Nylox is your turn. Nylox, at this point...
Oh, I did not take an action against Nylox, so Nylox can do a thing.
Actually, you get 2 turns, Nylox.
Oh, Nylox, why do you get 2 actions?
Just see here. Yeah, sure, let's go with you. So, Nylox, in the reaction to Milan, leaps forward past Rezhnok, very clearly just unprepared for all of this, and is starting to just reality filter out the things that it cannot process right now. And it reaches out with one arm, and the arm mutates and implodes inward, the hand shrinking back into the radius and ulna, as they spread open to create a hollow within the arm like a cannon, that you can look down inside and see the flickerings of balefire and wild energy in a very safely constructed lattice. And you realize what is about to happen as its own essence bleeds out of the sun-rent open wounds in front of that fire, as it is effectively shooting an antimatter cannon at you.
Bring it, asshole.
That is 2-1 to Rezhnok. And the...
Oh, so this is a ranged attack targeting me?
Yes.
You lose 2 dice. Because I'm in air bonfire.
Okay, I'm just gonna pull 2 successes off anyway, because it is also just not going to hit. So the shot goes wide, and the essence crashes into each other on the far wall behind you, and there is this just sudden unsound as the 2 different motes of essence collide with each other and just unmake. There is just a poured out bubble of there's nothing here. That probably would have been really devastating to get hit by. Good thing that you are flying and it's a really bad aim. The second action it takes upon realizing that that was not a good aim is a different one, where it turns around and, okay, limiter's broken. Who do you go for first? Oh, Weaver, you're having a bad day, aren't you?
Yes, it's happening. Finally, we're going full Wesker.
No!
It's time for the face-eating leopard to eat his face.
It was really a matter of which leopard was going to eat his face first.
The tyrant is a super monster.
As Nilox, at this point, is operating under different orders. There is a bigger fish in the room. There is direct orders from the top, and the direct orders say, fuck that guy. As Weaver looks around, still reeling from trying to grasp with this pseudo-exigency being layered upon divinity, upon dragon bloods, and then looks straight down the barrel of an antimatter cannon. Better, but not enough to do devastating damage. Weaver does actually have to spend both of his actions to get out of the way of the blast radius, though. So he actually just has to dive out of the way, as Reznak is now laser-focused on him as just new orders. As there is now... Let me just... Oh, wait. That is just nothing here. It is just a divot down into nothingness. Ally turn.
Nothing remains.
We have Obsidian and Yang.
Does Yang need a moment?
I feel like I should just cast Desperado.
Okay, I have to preface here, because it is a thing that you've recently been playing. You're talking about the thing that Laguna does, right?
No, I'm talking about the limit 3. 14. Although I guess it's from that, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, no, honestly, both fit. Either the level 3 Machinist limit break or Desperado from that, yeah.
I mean, take your pick, whichever one is cooler.
I guess I'll just use the charm that I have to make a ballista and just use it to make a second heavy crossbow at Essence 5, because fuck it, whatever.
Wait, it lets you make 2 at Essence 5?
I don't know. No, I'm just thinking like
Flavor.
narratively that'd be funny.
Well, honestly, yeah, actually, I will let you have it be rapid fire at Essence 5.
Sure. Just something to justify doing a big 8 power move. I'm just gonna dump all my stuff out. I guess Weaver.
Yep. Alright, so I'm just gonna say, you being the focal point of the energy, just roll 20 dice. You don't need to spend motes on that.
Alright. I'm
just-
going to aim for the dick.
Actually, I'm going to ask, do you want to write his name on the bolts, or do you want to write something else?
I don't know how this happens, but the bolts are people he fucked over. They're the names of people he fucked over on
Oh
the
my
bolts.
god! Oh my god, okay, yeah, no, okay, yes, yes, go ahead and roll. I have something for this.
Oh.
Holy fuck!
Huh.
So, just for reference for the audience, the Death Lord stat block in Exalted Essence has a default defense rating of 6.
Well, perish.
Alright, now, I'm just gonna say, go ahead and roll your power.
Okay. So 8d10.
Yes.
Your power right now is 8.
8.
Yep.
Alright. So, Weaver, upon having to dash away from the antimatter cannon, turns around to see Yang on top of a 15-foot tall artillery array. It is no longer just a ballista. It is something that you would see.
Crossbow, Jesus.
It is something that you would see. Crossbow Jesus, goddammit. It is something that you would normally see mounted on the walls of the Scarlet Empress's city, like the Imperial City. This is something closer to a lightning crossbow, a first age work of artifice. Except it is just a giant ballista with 8 fucking billion bolts in it. As Weaver looks down the down a barrel, I guess? I don't know what the actual term would be for the crossbow in this situation. And sees just sees a specific name on one of the first bolts, and his eyes go from confusion and terror and weirdness to just as the bolts launch forward, taking off one arm, the second arm, one through the head, one through the heart, and one through the dick. As he just leans over, like spectral blood leaking out of his mouth. Not dead, but certainly probably more damaged than he has been since the fall of the First Age. Fine. Fine. You can have this one. Enjoy it while you can. As he just uses Hurry Home to discorporate into a pool of blood lurching on the ground, as the entire underworld manse begins to shudder. The two closest, Yang and Milan, please give me a finesse awareness roll at the bolts that are on the ground. Whoop.
There we go.
Oh, it's 2 more dice than
Of
that.
course
but
it's you!
it's actually 2 more dice. Hold on. Okay, there.
You see, etched on the side of one of the bolts, there are, well, on all of them, you don't recognize 3 of the names, but on one of them, you recognize a pair of names. Well, you recognize one half of a pair of names. The first one is written Crucible of Magnanimous Strife. The second one is Muse of the Waltz of War. Enemy turn, and there are no more enemy actions. Obsidian.
Well, I have a thing that I have declared vengeance against with all of my strength.
Sure do.
We are on opposite sides of the giant writhing mass of blood chains.
I'm going to see if I have any actual combat charms. Don't think I do. I think this is just going to be channeling close combat mastery. Oh, wait! Hello! Go remind myself what this one does. Yeah, let's go with that. Spending 2 motes for combat mastery and guard breaking technique.
I'm sorry, I'm listening, but also Ron. It just looks like a fucking mech warrior missile rack.
As
Yeah, I just put that one up right away.
Yup.
there's no finesse to this maneuver.
Nope.
There's nothing fancy about it. Obsidian, blade flat to the chain, holds the sword slowly above his head, turns it blade facing Reshnok, and channels as much essence as he can into the sword to just make a giant blade of flame, and just brings this down onto the massive
Alright.
chains.
Get a stunt.
Two of them. We're getting very close to the doom timer.
I'm going to say, because of the mask, you get 7 power out of this.
Nice.
Alright, and turn order reset. Villain turn again. As Nylox, now that Weaver is gone, is kind of forced to reassess the situation once more. And does something happen? Okay, does this other thing happen that is more likely? Alright, that botches a narrative one. It is not going to the Doom Pool, but Nylox is about to have a very bad day. So, in the pool of blood and tattered, carbon fiber, leather, etc., and away from the knocked away sunglasses, those who are looking towards Nylox, so probably Milan, Yang, and maybe Repose on the side, notice there is a small vial just kind of rolling across the ground that had been unnoticed until now. And inside that vial appears to be a very tiny man. A very upset, tiny man that is hammering on the cork of the vial. And as you kind of have your eyes resolve and realize, wait, what is that? The cork pops open, and the small, strange, bearded figure leaps out directly into the gun barrel of Nylox's arm, into the wild pocket.
Objection! Objection! Objection!
Impermissible evidence! Boom! As the entire right arm of Nylox blows off, exposing a almost teratoma that looks like it should have been where new growth came from, but it is now violently reacting and swelling like a pustule that has been exposed to too much heat. And it detonates as well, blowing out another part of the body, exposing more and more very carefully scarified nodules of wild energy within the body of the fruited body that had created the dragon. And there is a final voice as the pustules begin to pop. The sentence is death! Boom! Nylox is now chunks across the room that are trying to pull themselves back together as the room is writhing desperately as the entire earth begins to shake beneath your feet.
All right.
What?
I have a move.
That was the one remaining non-killed Fae that Weaver had up his sleeve as an emergency empowerment plan that he could not use because you beat him too early. And I rolled to see if it would go bad, and it did.
Very bad.
That tiny Ron. There you go.
It is down to just Reshnok, and it is the allies' turn.
So, Repose has been continuing to curse and snarl and wiggle as he has been all throughout the very stressful, unpleasant, no good, bad day of going into battle against the foe. And after all of that manages to happen, after like all the various, screaming echoes out into the chamber and starts to fade off, the various meat noises settle and die down a little bit. Repose finds his footing, becomes steady, draws and releases a full breath, and his posture is back. And he reaches out and just grabs one of the filing chains, which a lot of them probably have like little scraps of sunlight teeming on them like a terrible burning rust.
Yep.
And just grabbing it. No. I've done the work to choose these words. And if no good will come of them, then it will be not because I failed to speak, but because you failed to listen.
All right.
You have been far from home for far too long. You belong. Like, it's like grabbing at some of it. You belong in your grave. And you, also like kind of twisting the chain a little bit, belong in your pit. Which, for how long, your attention has been held divided by sorcerers, forcing you to chase rats. Your proper palace must be absolutely filthy. It must be crawling with loathsome imps who smell the weakness left by your absence. Do you think all of those little crawling, darting things infesting your home even remember how to say your name? No. There's nothing right in that. And preparing, like, charging energy into the staff, spear point of light forming at its end. No. Your time here is at an end. You should leave this place, and I should help you.
Go ahead and get a start.
For it was written, and it was said, and goes on into appropriate, about to smite you.
Mm-hmm.
But we love it when the Sun King throws down the Spear of Might. So, let us Lone Spark lights the conflagration. Finally. In order to... Scrolling over to the text that was settled on. Yes, so... A unique gambit at difficulty 4 against any target inflicted with paralyzing combustion imbuement. Roll an attack against its defense, and on success, either resolve it as a decisive attack with 4 power spent that ignores my essence and soak, or apply the effects of the reveal weakness to surrounding enemies, which, alright, we do in the smite.
Yep.
I had already written roll in the box.
Holy fuck!
Wow. That's fucked up.
That's bigger than a normal number.
14,
Suppose
15,
within
16.
yeah, with the 2 additional ones sliding in there, you do not want to know what happens if I miss. So,
Well, all right.
resolving a decisive attack, I guess.
Yep.
So, attack pool. How much of that got through defense?
Its defense was 10, so it is a 6 over. You know, whose whisper's chain was not meant to be a fight you punched, but By God, I forgot about Raposa's numbers.
Apply success-based bonuses and penalties. Damage rating applies here. Find again where I put how. Yes, spend power to deal health damage. Must bid at least as much power as hardness rating, though.
I'm going to just go ahead and say, are you doing something else?
Well, I'm finishing reading through the formalities here. If you want to override the rules and...
I'm going to say from your monologue, and the fact that it is revealed weakness, you are ignoring hardness right now. Because you are speaking to half of it that does in fact want to go home. The other half wants to tear you into a million tiny pieces and have all of you experience the suffering that involves putting your trust into tiny things that betray you, but the other half really just wants to go home.
So I guess further question then, just for some last minute, let's do some educating here. Lone Spark offers a decisive attack with 4 power spent. Is that separate from my regular power that I could throw in?
Yes, I believe that was the intention, was that it is...
So I could, say, turn this into a 9 power attack by...
Yes. Yeah, I believe the intention was that it was an explosion on top of your normal decisive.
Alright, so there will be this many dice of inflict damage, and actually, right, I have much juice to spend on things, so let us also spirit shredding attack. Where? Alright, so I already spent one over there. Last minute shuffling of paperwork back and forth to resolve an attack. So yes, dealing aggravated damage to spirits. And that is with total of -6 to its soak.
So yes, that is actually ignoring its soak legitimately.
And damage rating on the weapon is just a 1. So, yeah!
Whoa!
7!
I gotta double check my notes on this one to be double sure. Did I give you 10 or did I give you 13? I gave you 10. I gave it 10.
Is that good?
It bought all of the ox bodies it could. Hang on. Oh god.
I have an image of, or at least a setup for. Yeah. So like, big ol' stab gets struck, big ol' burning hole is left in it. There is, ominous smoldering to see what actually happens as consequences of it.
I guess, yeah, that is a question. Do 10s double on damage?
I am in this case.
Alrighty.
Yeah, they usually don't, but then again, shenanigans.
Yeah, this is the finale. I'm willing to bend rules for cool shit happening.
After just pulling back firmly into posture, a bit of a spin of a flourish from a proper executing strike. Propose just stands upright.
Go still for the briefest of moments.
You were
reaching out.
Just thing to say.
Mhm.
You were minding your own business. Then you licked the floor, and then your day was ruined. These things happen to anyone.
The chains reach out like fingers towards repose before they begin to glow within and have the blood and rust burst off of them with searing, burning golden light, incinerating the metal inwards towards the core, towards the black oil, towards the sliding tongues, towards the organic piece, as the whispers and the darkness are ripped in half away from the core of the demon, as it pulls itself desperately away from the grip of its dead cousins, and accepts the embrace of the sunlight.
No one else will have to know. Just cough it up and move on.
And where? So, back to you. There is a sudden moment of eerie quiet as the rippling of darkness, of smoke, of shadow, and whispering still hang in the air, and then begin to dissolve like a dream moving on to a different sequence, its attention unfocused, unable to look at you. Just the moment it did not have a physical form to channel through, the nightmares of the dead that lay dreaming drifted away. And then you realize that the ground hasn't stopped shaking. In fact, if anything, it's been shaking more intensely.
Oh no.
So,
Pray slaughtered.
it's time to get the fuck out.
Now we scoot.
Is there anyone else hear a horse neighing?
Stalwart daughter is at the room, the door of the room, just kind of intensely making noise like, no, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. As repose, as the crew is beginning to go out. And you turn around and see Tyrant hauling himself up to his feet. And this is an open question. How would you react to him standing?
I would like to roll 5 dice to see if something happens.
Okay. Tyrant did not get a Yakuman mask.
I'm rolling Queen of the Squared Circle.
What?
Stalwart daughter's grabbing Tyrant. That's 5 successes to wrestle Tyrant onto her back.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
She is the queen of wrestling.
Oh my god, right, that is the name for her wrestling pool, Queen of the Squared Circle. You get the distinct impression. I'm actually going to have Milan roll, in post hoc, a finesse integrity roll. So go ahead and roll that. Tyrant was very deliberately considering just standing there to let the entire man's fall on him.
Nuh-uh. No, you're coming along. We're not done with you.
For what it's worth, if nobody else had done it first, I was literally going to spend the 3 for just incredible feats of strength immediately and just grab him.
Pick him up and lift and run. Alright, so yeah, this is going to be a chase, mechanically, as the entire Mance is now collapsing into the Maw of Oblivion, as the Third Circle Sorcery Mance is destroying itself, with Weaver having released the motes into it. I am going to ask, let us go up to the chase rules.
God damn it, Rob.
Okay, I'm going to ask for who is on point for getting you out of here.
I would say either myself, Angler, or Obsidian.
Well, Obsidian sure is still going very, let's say, loud. So, what is the current problem? Like, the door that we came in, is that still there? Is there a wall
That is still
missing?
there. The first obstacle you are encountering is the floor under you is literally falling apart, and when you look down, that's nothing down there. That's literally eyes do not register what is in there. That's Oblivion, actually. You need to go. You need to go now. You cannot fall.
Can I do something, please?
Go ahead.
Go for it.
Since Angler's still attached to the ley line up in the ceiling,
Yep.
he's going to twist his arms just a little bit and ask the spirits, can you give us a platform, please, to get out of here? Thank you. We have to go up towards the stars now.
Alright, I'm actually just going to rule that as negating one of the 5 obstacles you need to get out of here with, by using the spirits to literally extend out the meat and organic matter, forcibly, just making it grow outwards into actual wood essence by sheer brute force of will, even as it is dying and being peeled apart by Oblivion to paper over the holes to let you run out.
And then as he pulls his arms out, he's going to just pause and say, if any of you get spun back into the creation, come find me. I'll be waiting. And he's going to go.
Alright, second navigation roll is the staircase upwards. You need to find out the way to get out of here. That is going to be a finesse navigate roll versus difficulty 7.
Who's doing that one?
That is whoever would like to take point on this.
I will
Alright.
offer to assist the navigate roll with a fortitude integrity of just, with repose, coming down from unflagging vengeance meditation, just regaining and asserting composure into his general surroundings of just, all right then, form a line, steady steps, slow breaths, do not look back.
Do not look down,
Remember
especially
which
do
way
not
is
look
up.
down.
I'll use finesse navigate, which is 10. How many stunts do I get?
You don't get a stunt, you get the assistance dice, so, oh my fucking god.
Alright.
8 dice
Uh,
assistance.
So
much?
that is 18 dice you have.
Yeah, that's Exaxes.
Yeah, that is an Exaxes on the way back up. So the labyrinth is now directly fighting against you. It is trying to pull you back down. It is creating false routes to funnel you back downwards into the increasingly widening maw of Oblivion. Oblivion in itself may be without malice. It may be without anything beyond what is reflected within it. But this man's fucking hates you. Yang's used to that. Yang's used to being in places that want to kill you. Yang's
Hey,
used
you
to being
too,
in
buddy.
places that want to kill you literally, not just the people in it. You were saying?
Hey, you too, buddy. To the house.
So it is just like every time there's a false path, Yang stops and thinks. Basically what happens is Yang, to step back and use a different metaphor, Yang is thinking like, alright, if I was a jackass level designer, what would I do to trick people into walking into a trap?
Just a
And
walking soapstone, basically.
Yeah, you basically have level designer vision of, oh yeah, okay, I turned that corner and there's gonna be a guy there. Or, okay, no, that is absolutely a boulder up there that you're not meant to notice. That kind of shit. As you
hit
were
that
just
wall and see what happens.
Yang
you were
is
just casually calling out
supremely-
every twist.
Yang is supremely skilled at guess the number. He guesses all the numbers.
Yeah, I would simply just choose all numbers.
All right, so.
All right.
Climbing.
Obstacle 3. Physically getting up the stairs fast enough to not fall up into oblivion. That is going to be a force athletics roll.
I'd like to take this one.
All right.
If you'll roll with me on this one, I'd like to have Angler reflexively learn a charm from the previous edition, Smashing Tidal Wave Technique.
Go ahead. Yeah, this is your victory lap. Go right ahead.
Angler just reaches out with tendrils of water to every single person, immediately grappling all of them, pulls all of them directly to them, and then use Dragons to mount the waterfall combined with mountain leaping technique and just punches straight up. We're going high as fast as we can.
All right. Go ahead and get a stunt on your roll. Difficulty is 5.
Well,
man. I love the system. We switched to the system when the numbers were too high. I look forward to using the system when the numbers are not ridiculous. This is not a complaint. This is just me going, oh man, this is great.
man, we're Essence 5. What do you want?
Oh yeah, no. I gave you Essence 5 knowing what was going to happen. So that is a 5 and a 12 on top of that, so you get 7 points of advantage. So... You know what I'm gonna actually let that be? I am going to get you a choice. And I know which one you're going to pick, so it is kind of a air quotes choice. You can either end the chase immediately and escape, or you can get the spirits out with you.
I take the spirits with me.
All right.
Hesitation.
Of course, we're gonna take the spirits out with us.
As you go, reflexively. Yeah. I didn't even realize what I was doing. I fucking said I saved the end. God damn it. Subconscious. As you are going up, reflexively, your water anima is reaching out into the walls to provide fresh, hydrating water into the wood elemental that had gotten up, and is just acting as a solvent and conduit for the spirits that had resigned themselves to being dragged into oblivion. But upon realizing that, wait, we have a way out. Wait, you're going out of your way to save? Holy fuck! Everybody in! Everybody in! And you feel all of a sudden, it is not just them, it is every ghost in this building that has been trapped as part of its construction and its sacrifices as part of its sorcery is just realizing, holy fuck, we haven't escaped! Get out, get out, get out, get out! As there is this literal, physical tidal wave of ghosts pushing the crew up at this point. Alright, next obstacle is the, let's see, where is it? Ah, yes. Dodge Weaver's Lower Soul.
I'd like to take this.
Go ahead.
So, as we're coming up the stairs, water falling, Weaver's Lower Soul just kind of at us. Milan is going to take his hat off, hand it to Angler, body check, and then throw himself back down the hole.
What? Hold on, what are you doing?
I'm throwing him down into the void. I've got a way out. Trust me. Hey, remember that artifact you gave me last time?
Oh my god, you're right! Oh my god, you're right! Force performance to get it to follow you to the deadly point.
I am partially also using martial arts with this.
Yeah.
To just air dragon style it into the void. Hold this for a sec, Angler. Yoink. Whoop.
Hold their shit. Thunk. As this mass of black smoke and tendrils is football tackled by the nerd of the hearth down into the maw of oblivion. And as you are about to crash down past the event horizon, as you feel your mustache spaghettifying in the gravitational pull, you slap your armor and bam! You are back up next to the hearth. Whoop.
Hand back the hat.
While
Thank
we're
you, thank
passing
you.
through the upper building, Repose will make sure to retrieve the jar of void sludge that was collected on the way in and briefly used as a distraction, just as it is starting to rumble its way off of the shelf where it was placed.
Alright, and the last one is just get out of the building, because now the base foundation of the upper level is near the bottom of the increasingly large pit that has formed. This is one last finesse athletics roll.
If I may.
Yep.
So, question. Describe the scene again one more time to me.
So basically what has been happening is
No, the present situation, like right where we are right now.
you are the base of the building has been sucking in the manse, so you are at the bottom of a crater where now the main floor of the manse is now at the bottom of the crater and is being dragged into the Maw of Oblivion, and you're trying to get out and get up onto the sides of the crater and climb out without getting got.
Cool. This is real simple for me. I spend 3 motes for a feat of godlike strength, and I just throw everybody up there.
Alright, go ahead and get the stunt, and I'm gonna have you roll specifically to see how well they land. You get them out, and also you need to get yourself out, but...
I jump. You said this was... Yeah, can I use finesse physique? Can I use force physique for this?
Yeah. Yeah, you're Mr. 10 dice. Well, 12 with the stunt.
Actually, wait a minute. Wait, just a goddamn minute. That's right, baby. I'm spending 4 motes.
Obsidian picks himself up and throws himself. He will not answer any questions as to how. I'm a chuckster! Woof! Alright. So, as everyone is hurled straight up into the sky of the underworld, out of the crater, and Obsidian leaps up behind them, you can see a couple of things all at once. You can see below the manse finally collapsing into the mouth of the void, like the last bits of water going down a drain, before the magic of the necromancy that had powered the manse seals itself and it just turns back into the ground. The second thing you notice... is there is something very strange going on over to the west. You could see the immense form of the Hecaton Kyre, now considerably beaten, but still very vital and angry, is bearing down on a gold light that is now shining green? Wait. Repose may roll... Actually, Repose and Milan may roll me a finesse sagacity roll to know what's about to happen.
Well, I know what's about to happen.
Oh, you know out of character. I'm asking in character.
I want to know what's about to happen.
Okay, so Repose, you know. So for Milan, you remember when in your discussions with Koi, and a couple of passing discussions with Sybil, and how your friend went out. Your friend went out trying to recite the true name of Lygear the Green Sun. And you remember that that was intended to be an invocation of his name in order to use him as sorcerer's power, as that was something that third circle solar sorcery was capable of channeling constructively. It looks like he wasn't entirely bullshitting on Sybil's ability to do that, as all of a sudden, you see the green light growing larger and brighter, and larger and brighter, as over the top of the Hecaton Kyre, as it stumbles backwards to look up, there is an immense green sun lighting the entire underworld bright as day with a pale green light before it detonates into a gigantic, literally miles wide column of flame. And I am just going to do a roll to see something on the side. Okay, duration 10 rounds. I'm just going to read this out loud. For the historical record, sorcerer may target any location up to extreme range. Anything within long range of that location, sorcerer accepted, explodes in a towering verdant blast of energy, etc., etc. As an environmental hazard of 5 aggravated damage a round, 10 rounds, difficulty 12 to resist. Anything with extreme range also suffers a shockwave. And trivial and non-significant characters simply perish. So I'm going to roll something and see. Nah. I'm just going to extrapolate that out for 10 rounds, and there is a solid maybe 15 seconds of screaming as you are going up and going down before the Hecaton Kyre just goes silent and the entire mass of it begins to collapse and then crumbles. And then you hit the ground.
I'm fine, I don't take fall damage.
Yep. No, I'm saying as part of this, yeah, you all have enough ways of negating it.
We get a good view.
You just get a really good view of, in my game, the first time Total Annihilation has been cast since the first age. That is the first time Sybil has ever felt it was justifiable to do that. And she only very recently learned it in the timeline of things.
For sports!
So, as the hearth smashes into the ground, give me 1 second. As we smash cut once again. There we go. To heaven. As a scrying portal has been opened up in order to trace the flow of essence to wherever the centralized spirit, person, or recognition of the entity known as Yakuman was. And the past, let's call it 10, 15, 20 minutes, or however long it has been watched in this courtroom with a mixture of absolute fucking terror and nigh rabid sports fan-like enthusiasm. So, Old Man and Flowing River saw the entire thing happen, and so did Foyanar, who has just kind of gone blank. Has just kind of gone very still and very quiet. And the portal is still open, and it just cut back after seeing Total Annihilation go off, and the room is utterly deafening.
Seems to me that Yakuman just defeated a force of darkness and doom. Pretty neat.
Yeah. But, the court would like to request a 30-second recess. Drops the quill, reaches under the desk, pulls out a jar of something, puts in a claw, unrips the cork, and just opens mouth, pours entire bottle down throat, and then throws bottle down throat. Court is back in session. Let it be noted that Yakuman is a not unforeseen, but certainly unexpected in this case, distinct entity without a centralized form that is mantleable as... Oh, fuck it, I'll get the professional words for this later.
Eh.
Points to flowing river. Points back to the horizon in the west that is still lightly glowing green. What the fuck was that, and why didn't we hear anything about it? Flowing river stands there, hands behind back, before very slowly starting to smile. I was under very strict instructions to only report back to heaven with mission necessary information that was critical to specifically the pursuit of the Executor as to not jeopardize my position in deep cover. I did not find her position and her presence to be necessary information regarding his. I hope you understand. So it be noted. And let it be noted off the record. Well done. I salute you. And then he puts the quill back to paper.
Old man looks at this exchange and gives a simultaneously confused, not confused, rather a knowing nod actually, and also shake of the head at the same time with a frown. It is both a affirmative and also man, it's fucked up that they have to do this at the same time, sort of thing.
Yep. Yeah, bets are now paying out on legality being suspension because everything is bullshit.
Hey, guess what the god of betting voted on?
Plentimon absolutely betted on that one, yes.
Yep.
And, yeah, just well done. I salute you. I fucking hate you. Well done. As Fuenar is just writing down... If I had to hazard a guess, Beck's notes between Loose Solar's record inactive before their escape of the Jade Prison. Solar's known to be capable of sorcery. Solar's capable of sorcery in the... You wouldn't happen to know a Crucible of Magnanimous Strife, would you?
Old man assumes that he's talking about Sybil, but also I don't think has ever heard that name before, so he can answer honestly of...
Yeah.
I guess not, actually. I've never heard the name before.
Be it noted that you have never knowingly come in contact with the solar known as Crucible of Magnanimous Strife.
I have never knowingly come into contact with Crucible of Magnanimous Strife, correct.
The Foley on that was me literally head desking, yes.
Of course Sybil has a divine record, every solar does.
So, Fuenar just looks up again. Looks around at the crowd, and old man, I want you specifically to give me a roll of finesse sagacity, and because of your...
I was really hoping I was going to get away with not having to roll dice, but alright.
It's 10 for you.
Yeah, I know.
Old man's final action.
This is actually going to probably be old man's final roll. And I'm going to specifically, because of your old intimacy with differences of interpretation with heaven, let you double 8s. So 8, 9, and 10 all count as a double.
All right. Well, that'd be a 6 successes then. 8, 9, and 10 all do it.
I'll define Luna in the crowd as well, though. Close, but not quite. You kind of instinctually are looking around for the bigger fish in this crowd that you can notice. And yes, that is actually has been her solar name the whole time, and Crucible. That is where it comes from. She has never lied about her name.
Fair enough. It's just a nickname for her full name. Got it.
Yep, she never once lied.
Or rather, a diminutive.
Yeah. The moment that you have a look around, you are looking, okay, so who is the higher, like, who is the bigger fish in here? And you're noticing, like, gods that are obviously in their most resplendent fineries and their most ridiculous, ostentatious outfits for this whole
None
occasion.
of those are important.
Yes.
I understand entirely that, as always, the more you have to front in heaven, the less important you are. That's always how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, you're looking for the person who's just in a suit, basically.
Yeah, 1 second. You notice a woman sitting up in the middle of the stands. And for a brief second, you have to do a double take before you realize, no, okay, it's not her. It's not her. It's a woman with kind of darker skin, bright red hair pulled back in a very simple ponytail. What looks like fresh dirt on her hands from maybe going around in a garden, and a very simple, drab, probably simple hand-dyed, green set of workers' clothing. She has a very small smile on her face as she's watching you.
Wait a second. Old man looks back at Flowing River and then asks, "Do you actually recognize many of them over there?"
Do not make eye contact.
Oh. I feel like I recognize that one.
You do not make eye contact. Do not show that you recognize her. Do not even acknowledge that she is here.
Old man is like, all right, how many laws am I allowed to break before it actually becomes a problem? He's thinking about, like, what's the tolerance level of this courtroom right now, and is like, if I recognize that person, if that one, hell. And Old man actually just goes ahead and, like, looks directly at her and, like, gives her a wave.
Yeah.
The entire courtroom freezes as there is, like, this visible ripple of all the gods around her leaning away. Like, the polite thing to do when there is a fragment of the primordial that is still around in the room is to just pretend that it is a normal person that we are not going to give any special sort of treatment to, and we're just not really going to call attention to her, and we're just going to let her do what she wants, and oh god, someone has recognized her for who she is, and they're ignoring the social boundaries. Oh fuck, oh god, what's she going to do? And all she does is just give a simple nod. Give my regards to my children. They've done well.
Knew there was someone on that mountain the whole time. I knew it!
She just smiles cryptically at that one.
And then like he leans back and then is like, every now and again I get about 40 to 50 to 80 years of validation. You know what? I don't think I've ever felt better than those times it happens.
It is the opinion of this court on record that... let me just get the good quill for this one. Pick up. Dip in Orichalcum ink. Yeah, they earned that one. Period. Shift back to Underworld. So, one thing to immediately do. Oh, wait, right. I need to actually set the backfill color. So, as the entire hearth is just kind of scrambling to their feet and getting up, the entire assembled host that has been assembled on the perimeter is rushing up just to go, holy fuck, are you okay? Just visibly, without even having to say it, there is just kind of a chorus of babbling and checking in and just panic. And looking... What? And then they notice, none of you are hurt. They look you up and down, unsure. Is that you? Is that really you? And Azar comes up. Is the first one to actually risk coming in close, looking at the hearth, looking at Repose, looking at Sam. Reaches into her traveling gear, pulls out Chief, puts Chief on the ground. Chief walks up to Repose, stares at Repose, and head bonks his shin. Yeah, that's them. And a cheer explodes from the entire crowd.
Woo! We did it.
Yeah, this is basically the moment where y'all can speak with each other, follow up with NPCs, but...
One of them playable epilogues.
Yeah. There is a wind down that I have, but I also want you to have your last moments talking with each other as well. And if you want to have a moment where you speak with Old Man, I can arrange for that as a epilogue
I actually
scene.
have a personal preference for what goes down in Old Man's trial, if you'd like.
Sure, go ahead.
I want Old Man to get arrested.
All right.
he's gonna spend some time in divine celestial jail and may not actually be able to speak with them all that much.
He will spend the next 100 years under the mountain thinking about what he has done.
Exactly. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, that is the exact sentence he gets, is to spend 100 years under his mountain, and then he'll be good with time served.
The most performative slap on the wrist for Divine Court of you are going under house arrest.
Mm-hmm.
Earnestly, he's completely fine with that result, because when you get down to it,
okay,
it's not really it's basically something he likes doing anyway. It's not a problem. And hey, if you want a visit at that point, that's fine too.
Mm-hmm.
It's either Old Man gets visited every now and again, or just time to split ties, I think. Old Man's not part of the hearth, you know?
Yeah, Old Man is probably going to be semi-forcibly recruited up into some heavenly agency or another on paper, and then be Old Man. Like, Heaven is not going to let him get away with not being on paper part of the bureaucracy. Heaven also knows better at this point with what he's been involved in to actually force him to do anything.
Someone is going to hand him a passport and write down that he has been given a passport.
Yes.
That is, for now, good enough. As mentioned before, kind of like sidled around. When Old Man attained his second level sorcery, we entered the Sapphire Circle and everything, and became the divine / exigent that he is. The thing that actually vanished from him was ambition. The thing that defined him up to that point.
Yep.
That doesn't mean he won't continue to go any higher. He just doesn't necessarily desire inherently the need to. Might just happen incidentally. Who knows?
Yeah, he still got curiosity.
More of this backlog of mid-show fan art.
Yeah, please go ahead and show off while we're discussing.
I don't know if it was put in chat, but I've just cross-posted from the chat in the Discord something that should be put up.
Yeah, no, that's fucking great. And God, that art is still amazing.
I don't have any.
Yes, immediate sliding under the radar. Another extremely good one from Morgan. And yeah, holy shit, this one is amazing. This is like this would be the box art if it wasn't a spoiler kind of image.
Who is Yakuman?
You say that like there aren't dozens of box arts that just show the final boss.
True.
Like
I do have a couple things I want to do, but I'm looking at the time and I'm hesitant to try to fix it all in before we have to close.
I'm willing to go a little later than I usually do, but I also know that all the rest of you have stuff to do.
Yeah, maybe there is one last epilogue session / thoughts on the campaign.
I was planning on having a Q&A session next week or something like that anyway, and that can be full epilogue, but, you know, little notes and pieces right here, right now can also work. Because I did have a list of, and I have been noting this the whole time, I have a list of what's going to happen to the NPCs based on PC actions, based on this ending, and I'm going to have to amend it a little bit, because y'all did some shit I was not expecting, like fucking body slam the lower soul of a Death Lord into the void, but...
We could, like, do a session that is functionally, like, the ending slides are gonna follow up, just like, alright,
yeah,
well,
that was my...
Yeah, I had.
So for immediate short-term epilogue proposed after being appraised by Chief, picks him up, walks the distance back over to Azar. I will, in due time, provide a thorough written report. And I am taking the remainder of this year in isolation. If there is anything to be done about the province, please, handing Chief back to her.
Azor takes Chief and puts a hand on his shoulder. Take the next 5, honey.
I will work out a schedule.
And with that, I think, unless anybody else has short-term notes, I think that's the last prior to ending slides thing we can do.
There would be one scene before leaving this pit that Obsidian had planned at one point or another, but things continued to escalate and there was never a chance. That now, once everything has calmed down, there aren't hordes of undead trying to kill from every direction. Obsidian would walk over to his ghost platoon fall to his knees, and this is the first time that you have ever seen Obsidian just weep.
They all...
As he is, like, apologizing for his failure as a commander repeatedly.
The only response they have is to salute and just let you have your moment. My face is so exposed and edible.
And yeah, that's the only thing I would have before we left
Yeah.
the underworld.
Yeah, the ghosts of your legion would understand. You need this, but also we need to let you know that no, it's cool, dude. Just let it out.
The rest of these briefly appear. Take the back.
Yeah, no, go through the fan art. It's all been fucking phenomenal today.
Milan has been tackle hugged to the ground.
Yeah, Shireen probably just like Calvin and Hobbes lunging pounce hugged Milan to the dirt. Honestly, honestly speaking, this is probably when she would actually kiss Milan.
Aw.
Yeah. Wait, I missed this one.
Yeah, this was great. There were
My
so
young
many good
criminal?
details. The cool S.
The sun mouse is there.
The
Angler's
leaf
just an
drawn
anglerfish.
incorrectly to make it look like a buckeye.
Angler is just an anglerfish.
Sheep?
Couple of
Cats?
sheep with cat. What?
My hat continues just up.
To keep going. It's actually been drawn on the corkboard. I didn't notice that.
Yep.
Has to be a cool ass. Come on. There's always at least one.
We got boxes full of Yaku, man.
Gun?
One thing, since we're, showing off the art while I'm thinking of it, Angler would kind of stumble over to Juan and say, I don't get it, but I at least understand what happens when you have more than one voice in your head. I'm gonna need some help with this when we get topside, because I have a whole world to show them.
Guan would be kind of shell-shocked looking, but give you the briefest glance of like, oh yeah, mood, hang on. Just very much, we'll get to that later once we're done processing what just happened over here. Mission status sick!
Also, I need a week to process because my entire thought process of how Angler was going to finish just went 180, so fuck, I need to think.
Yeah. Reasonable.
Old man final resting place.
Yep!
Actually, speaking of resting places, I don't know, the offer that old man made to Tyrant is actually still on the table, technically.
We
I
do
still
have a
remember-
heavily
yes.
mangled, defeated, and de-whispered tyrant who
Yep,
might
and that
accept
was-
an offer of having a ditch to be thrown in.
Yeah, that was actually going to be part of the epilogue. I did not fully describe it, but I was going to get to it in the epilogue. And I will continue there. But yeah, and he is basically now fully actually invested in, you know what, okay, I'm willing to lay in the ditch and then try and I can't make up for what I have done, but try and do better in the future. That is the best you are going to get out of him, is an actual acknowledgement of, I have been a huge fucking asshole and I cannot just run away from it. So I am going to take the time I need to fix myself, and then I am going to actually earnestly try and do anything to make reparations.
Good enough.
You did, in fact, by virtue largely of at the last minute Obsidian trying to save his life, gave him that last spark to grab onto that, and rather than be hollowed out to be a vessel for the Neverborn, you gave him his better ending in terms of him being somebody that you can talk around long term rather than somebody who chose oblivion out of spite.
Yeah.
Obsidian continues to find the good in people violently and very thoroughly, but eventually gets there. Yes, that is exactly how I put it. He is now eventually deprogrammable. That is as good as you're getting.
Well,
Angler goes to Ghost? Fuck!
that occurred.
Well, that was a fucked up story, huh?
Epilogue, aftermath.
Something.
Q&A.
Roll credits.
Credits, ending slides, and Q&A. See y'all for the last time next time.